Hey, this is Randall Clark. I've had something on my mind for the past few weeks, and I just wanted to get on and talk about it real quick. The world of music is changing really fast right now, especially with how crazy AI is getting. It's everywhere. It's writing some pretty crazy good music. It's also writing maybe not so great music here and there, but how long until AI can do things that are indistinguishable from human-made music? And honestly, we're probably most of the way there now. The vocals it can create are pretty convincing, and the instruments that it can do, they're also pretty crazy. And they're things that would have sounded impossible to us just a few years ago, but here it is. And it's going to be taking jobs away from musicians who have depended on music income for decades, particularly those who compose music, those who do studio work. I do a lot of studio work, and I think that day-to-day kind of studio work where you're in the studio doing commercial cues or jingles and that kind of thing, that's just going to mostly go to AI, and it's going to kind of go away. I do still think there will be a demand for real players when that is demanded, but you need to be the kind of player that can ask for that kind of work. But most of that regular stuff, I think it's just gone. A lot of musicians are worried about that, and these concerns are valid. So we need to keep trying to take steps in our society to make sure that human-made music is protected. It's kind of the Wild West out there right now. And there are people that have wildly different views about how to use AI and what's okay and what's not okay. And there are people who are adamantly opposed to use AI in any form. I just heard a very prominent saxophonist the other day on social media who was saying that if you're a teacher and you're using AI to help you in your job, that you should just quit your job. That's a very extreme view, just no AI whatsoever. But then there are some people I know who are using AI as a production tool. They actually write their own music. They stick it into something like Suno, and then they let the app produce it for them. And then I know others who are letting the app produce it for them, but then they're taking that output and they're changing it, or they're re-recording all the parts so there's no AI left in it whatsoever, and they're using real humans to do that. So I guess that's somewhat good, but I think you'd always be left wondering how much of that production that came from the app was taken from another source. Are you sure that that's original? And so these questions are really pertinent right now. I've also seen online that there are people that just let the AI do it all for them. It composes the music based on a prompt that they put in, and then the person takes credit for the output and calls themselves a composer. That's nuts. So in the end, I'm not so concerned about what AI can do, but I am a little bit worried about the honesty and the integrity of those who use it. So anyone who writes a prompt and then takes credit for the output, they either don't have any personal integrity or they are just totally clueless. But the real problem is that our society rewards that behavior, and there's a few reasons for that. One big thing is that most streaming services right now, they don't really have any integrity either. They don't see the value of human-made music, and they demonstrate that by allowing AI tracks on their platforms, often ones that they've created themselves, stealing royalties from human artists. And this works because the general population isn't really smart enough to know the difference between good music and average music, or they just don't really care. So here's the reality. AI is here to stay. We can complain about it. We can be the old man shaking our fist at the clouds, but it's not going anywhere. So the real question is, what are you going to do about it? Is it pointless now to make music? Well, you got to remember why you started playing music in the first place, I think. Most people didn't start out thinking they wanted a career in music. Most people didn't start out playing music because they wanted to be big on social media. Social media didn't even exist when I was learning to play music. Most people didn't start composing music because they wanted to hit it big in the movies. Some people may have gotten into that as they got better at their craft, and that's very, very cool. But most of us started just because we wanted to have fun. We wanted to express ourselves. We wanted to sound good because sounding good makes us feel good. So I've been teaching junior high and high school band for almost 30 years. Never once has anyone ever come to me and said, I want to play saxophone because I want to be a famous musician. That just never, ever happens. They just want to play. They want to experience creating music with other people. They want to hang with their friends and build something great. I was just reading an interview Jazz Times did with David Sanborn from a few years back. And in the interview, he talks about how he never intended to be a musician at all. It's just something that he couldn't keep himself from doing. And through a bunch of happy accidents, he found himself being able to make a living at it. Now that's pretty cool. And here's one of the best things that I've seen being a teacher. Even though today it's easier than ever to take a pass on hard work and actually getting good at something, students today still want to work hard. They're learning grit. They're enjoying the process of getting better more than ever. And AI cannot take that away. People still want to make music with other people, and they want to feel confident doing it. So even though AI can do all of these wonderful things, it cannot sit down with a saxophone. It can't take a breath. It can't actually play the instrument. That part is still human, and it always will be because you get to do it. And those of you that have ever gone to a jam session, you know exactly what I mean. When you're standing there with other musicians and you count off a tune and you actually have to play, there's no shortcut for that. You either put in the time or you didn't. And if you did, it can be glorious. And if you didn't, it might be terrifying. And AI will never be terrified to play. It will never walk on air when it's done something great. It will never feel terrible when it didn't. With AI, there's no risk. And that's part of the great thing about seeing other people play instruments, especially in jazz, I think, because there's always risk. There's always that part that you never know what's going to happen, and it can be different every single time. And that's part of what makes music exciting. So what do we do about this? Well, here's what I feel that I need to do about this. I feel that I need to double down on getting better saxophone content out there to help you all be better players. I really want to do that, but I'm not here to teach you guys the quick and easy way to get good. There's no point in that because AI is already the quick and easy way. And there's a lot of that stuff already out on the internet that you guys can find. 5 tricks to sound amazing instantly. Learn jazz in 10 minutes. That isn't how it works, and you know that's not how it works. There are definitely some easy things you can do to make the process of learning more efficient, but at the end of the day, you need to put in the work. And why? Because it's worth it. Even with AI, it's worth working hard and having success. So I want to teach you the correct way to get good. I want to teach you the way that actually builds your playing over time. Things that will develop your tone, your time, your style, your vocabulary, your phrasing, and most of all, your musicianship. The things that make it so that when you pick up your instrument, you feel good about yourself and others can hear that you spent the time to get there. And when we do this, the value of real musicianship goes up and the value of AI goes way down. I mean, playing an instrument should feel good. When you sound great on your horn, that's a feeling AI can't give you no matter what prompt you put in. When you're playing with other musicians and like your intonation is perfect across your section, and that is just a feeling that is so cool. And when you're totally locked into the time with the rhythm section, that's a feeling that AI can't replace. You should be creating your own music, your own sound, your own voice. And that's always going to matter. So going forward, that's what this channel is all about. Getting better, developing real skills on your instrument, building the kind of playing where you can walk into a jam session, you can call a tune, and you can actually hang. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, just the real process of becoming a better musician. And if that's something you're interested in, that's what we're going to be doing here. Lessons, concepts, practice approaches, and, a lot of playing, because at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. Sounding good on your instrument and having a lot of fun in the process. There will hopefully be more legislation coming that protects musicians that actually do want to make a career out of this. But what if they don't? Does it change anything? Does it mean that your creativity and your art doesn't matter anymore? I don't think so. So just remember that one small thing that you can always do to protect human-made music as a musician is trying to become the best musician that you can be. The more quality musicians that we have, the more it matters, the more incentive there is to protect it. So remember why you started playing. Put in the work and have fun.